So as we find our inner badass state, and I had to adjust the camera angle a little bit, so if you have trouble seeing me, let me know. Hoping that y'all can see me and hear me without interruption today. If when I say badass, it conjures like a negative connotation for you, just try to reinvent that word in your mind. And badass is really speaking to the strong, the brave, the courageous, the won't take anything from anybody kind of energy that you hold in you. And it's not barreling people over, and it's not disrespecting other people's feelings and space, taking all that to consideration and continuing to be the badass that you are, which makes you even more badass, right? It's what helps us to fight for what we believe in. It's what helps us to love so passionately. And we all have a little bit of that in us today. And so I want you to think about your sort of badass superpower and how it manifests in your life. And let's really breathe into that today. And we'll be doing a vigorous flow, but know that if it's too much in your body, you're welcome to scale it down. We'll be doing some strong shapes. And again, know there's always an opportunity for you to modify. All right, we good? Yes. Come to a comfortable seat. Root into the sit bones, feeling connected to the surface supporting you. Bring the shoulders up toward the ears and then invite them down away from the ears. Let the hands rest gently on your thighs if you feel like beginning the practice with grounding, or open the palms up, inviting the energy that swirls around you. The poems that I'm reading today are from a badass poet named Victoria Erickson, who's based in Austin, Texas. I want you to know one thing, that in the heart and thick of it, deep in the trenches of experience and wonder and ancestry, and the darkest dark and the brightest light, that you are wildly, primally, ravishingly magical. Your magic doesn't fade when times get tough. Your magic only glistens brighter, moving through adversity, moving through challenges. Bring your hands to stack right over the belly button, just underneath the rib cage. This is your Manipura chakra. This is the seat of your badassery right here, right in the center of the body. Maybe you envision a bright glow of yellow, a wheel of energy spinning your confidence out in the world. Start to expand the breath, feeling the way the palms fill up with that energy. Use every exhale to let go of any lie that you've ever told yourself about limits. Anything you've told yourself that keeps you in a frame rather than letting you explore limitless possibilities. Use the out breath to let go of any voices that you're holding that you've heard in your life that have told you you're not enough, or that you need to change, or you need to be more. Use each breath to let all that go, because you are enough. Continue to take some breaths, finding more space in the body to expand. And then slide one hand up to your heart, keeping one hand on your solar plexus. Connecting these two powerful energy centers, connecting this sense of love that you have for yourself, this pride, this presence. Setting an intention for the practice to connect with and empower your inner badass Your badass doesn't have to be rough and rigid. It can be soft and sweet, but it is strong. It is brave. It is fully aware of who you are at your core. Let's take 3 deep breaths into that. Big breath in, expanding into the belly, expanding into the heart. Exhale, side out. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, let go. Last one, biggest breath yet. And release. We're going to roll over to a table position. So come into that nice strong table where you're rooted and grounded. You know where you've come from, but you also are fully aware of where you're going with your hopes and your dreams. Rising from the earth, solid structure in the body. Take a big breath in. Let a breath go. On the inhale, extend your right arm forward, left leg back, finding your balancing table. Flex into that left foot, toes point downward, maybe a slight inward rotation of the hip. Take one more breath to reach. And as you exhale, bring the elbow to knee, rounding in the spine, lifting the vertebra up toward the sky, chin to chest. Inhale, reach and extend, gaze slightly forward. And exhale, connect, elbow to knee. Twice more, breathe in, breathe out. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reach in opposite directions once again. And maybe take a bind, bend the left knee and wrap that right arm around, looking for a little attachment to the ankle. And actively kick that foot into the hand. Feel the quadricep fire up right there. Keep pressing into the left palm. One more breath. And release. Bring that right hand down to the earth. Send the left leg out to the side and root the foot down. So just extending that leg out to the side. Keep the right palm rooted. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. And then release the left hand down and peel the right arm up to the sky. We're twisting in both directions and just notice the difference. Inhale, left arm up. Move with your breath. Exhale, release. Inhale, right palm up. And release. Do one more on each side. Try to keep the hips stable. Squeeze into your badass, your booty, to stabilize through the hips. Sorry if anyone has little ears in the room today. All right, from here, we're going to lift up onto that right knee with that left leg extended. You can keep the foot flexed so you're pressing into the outer edge of the left foot, or if it feels better, rotate open through the hips so you come onto that left heel, your choice. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, crescent over to the left side. Inhale, back up through center, crescent over to the right side. Opening space in the side body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more on each side, really taking advantage of the breath. And then as you come back into center, sit that right hip down on the right heel. Maybe root that left foot back down to the earth and melt the chest down. So we're coming into a little half child's pose here. And that left leg is going to get a really good stretch in your adductor. Feel the inner thigh start to warm up. You can walk the hands forward if you want. Melt the forehead to the earth. Take another big breath. And then come back into a table position with the left leg extended. Step the left foot between the hands and just move back and forth between your low lunge and your half split. And on this journey, if one of them feels better than the other or feels like you're giving yourself what you need, you can stay there, maybe hang out there for a few extra breaths. Some people like the static hold. Some people get more out of dynamic movement. Do what works best for you. If your knees start to get tender, you can always roll the mat up in the center to give a little cushion. One more big breath in. Full breath out. And then come back to table position. Bring the left knee back to meet the right. They're spaced apart about 2 fists worth. And just take a moment to notice how the body feels. And maybe you want to do your little sexy cat and cow. I'm feeling saucy today. Can you feel? Can you tell? Remember, today's the day my daughter graduates, so I'm feeling kind of like a badass mom today. That I made a kid who survived for 18 years and thrived. I know there are many among you who know that feeling. It's pretty badass, my friends. All right, we're coming back into table position. We'll take that on the other side. So inhale, left arm forward, right leg back, finding that long line of energy, stretching and breathing into the body. Take one more big breath. And then start to bring elbow to knee round the spine. Inhale, stretch and extend. Exhale, curling and rounding. Really tuck the navel up toward the spine there. Feel that Uddiyana Bandha engagement. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. You got this. Breathe in and breathe out. Extend again on the inhale. Maybe take that bind, bend the right leg, left arm comes around. The bind is always optional. It just gives a little bit more of an opening to the heart here. But you could stay here, working into that booty. One more breath. Release the bind, left hand to the earth, right leg swings to the side. So it's perpendicular to the body. And then we start to do our twist. So reach the right arm up, twisting to the right. Then release. Lift the left arm, twist to the left. That one's a little more challenging. It really calls upon the hip stabilizer so the hips aren't shifting. Just twisting in the spine, creating that space. Move with the natural breath. One more twist on each side. Nice. And then we're going to rise. So right here is when you decide, do I need something to support my left knee? Give cushion if you need it. Do I need to rotate my right hip open? Go for it if you need it. Otherwise, keep pressing into the edge of the right foot. Starts to fire up the side of your hip there. You'll feel it. Inhale the arms up. As you exhale, crescent over to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Keep lifting the spine before you flex to the side here. One more on each side. Find a little meditation in the flow. Make sure the shoulders aren't hunching up to the ears. Nice. And then sit the hip back, coming into that little half child's pose. If the knee is healthy. If the knee's not feeling healthy, you can stay right here. Otherwise, sink the hips back toward the heels. Reach the arms forward. Ground down through the chest and feel that big stretch into the right leg. Can you drive into the edge of that foot a little bit more, increasing the sensation? One more breath. And then come back into your three-legged table. Swing the right leg back behind you. Then press forward, stepping the right foot between the hands. where you find your flow. And another option is to lift the hands. If you're feeling hunched, then maybe lift, rounding the shoulders down and back as you flow back and forth, or finding one shape that feels good. Then you want to spend all your breath there. Yeah. There's something for everybody here. Take 2 more breaths. Beautiful. From here, hands to the earth, right knee back to the left, making a little bit more movement where the body needs it. And then we're going to shift forward, then bend the elbows, hugging the ribs down toward chaturanga. Inhale, press the earth up. And right here, just take note of your elbows. Are they splaying out to the side, or are they drawing in, pointing back toward your heels? You want them to point back. Press the heart up, shoulders relax. Feel that nice stretch right into the lower thoracic and lumbar area. Take a big breath in. Curl the toes under so you can push right up into your plank and go right into downward facing dog. Breathe. Move any way that feels instinctive to you right here. Bend at the joints. Sway a little bit. Maybe make some noise. Breathe in. Breathe out. Nice. Look to the front of the mat. Step your feet to your hands. And rise all the way up. As you exhale, hands float through center on the way back down to a fold. And then halfway lift, hands come to shins. Plant the hands, step back to your high plank with the knees up, or feel free to lower them and untuck toes. We lower the heart, chaturanga. That's our low push-up. Inhale, rising once again for our cobra. Maybe the arms straighten or you keep them bent for your baby cobra. Rising right away up into your downward facing dog. And as you rise, really strengthen into the lower abs and the glutes to help lift you so that that fight against gravity is a little bit less challenging and a little bit less taxing into your back. Big breath in. Full breath out. Look to the front of the mat. Step to the top with your non-dominant foot. So let the other foot lead you. Forward fold. Rise all the way up. Hands through the midline. Folding back into your fold. Halfway lift. Imagine a nice long spine, flat back. Then plant the hands. Step the other foot back. High plank to low plank. Remember, you can always go high plank to no plank. Go right to downward facing dog if you want to skip your chaturangas. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's do 2 more sun salutations. Just bringing awareness to the body. If you want to start jumping forward, bend the knees. Take a little hop, feet to hands. Rise all the way up. Maybe you open the heart at the top. Float the hands through the midline, back into your fold. Halfway lift, long spine, shoulders relaxed. Plant the hands. Maybe you want to jump back, that badass jump. Just make sure you're landing safely with the elbows bent. Careful on those toes. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. 1 more sun salutations. Look at the front. Hop, step, however you want to arrive. Rise up, open up. Hands float through the heart to fold. Halfway lift. And then flow. Maybe your flow takes you right to downward facing dog. Maybe you double dip chaturangas. Maybe you do a little handstand and float. You're a badass. Remember, you can do whatever you want. Breathe in and breathe out. On the inhale, right heel to the sky. Right foot behind the right wrist. We're setting up for warrior one. Your badass is your inner warrior right here. So again, we're grounded. We know where we've come from, but we're feeling fired up right in that Manipura area. So really start to lift the rib cage away from the pelvis. Maybe the arms rise, feeling valiant, feeling courageous, feeling so present. Breathe in, go a little deeper. One more breath. And then exhale, hands to the earth. Step back, high plank. Lower chaturanga. Float up, press the earth away. Downward facing dog. Breathe and release. Inhale, left heel to the sky. Left foot behind the left wrist. Lower the right foot, coming up to your warrior one. Making adjustments. I see hands on hips, Laura. That's awesome. Just making those adjustments. Breathe in. Relax the shoulders. Go a little deeper if it's there for you. One more breath. And release down, step back, high plank, low plank, scooping up. Downward facing dog is where we will meet. Take your time going through those shapes, exploring, being creative, being curious. Breathe in and breathe out. Look to the front of the mat, step or hop feet to hands. Toe mounds connect, sweeping up into the most badass of badass shapes. We're getting into our Utkatasana. You know, I like to shake my butte when I get here. It feels really freeing. Did a lot of shaking yesterday. So if that was good for you and you want to do some more, try doing it in Utkatasana because it's empowering. You're firing up the energy of your core and your legs. Take 2 more breaths. Shake that booty if you want. Just keep pressing the hips back. You don't want the knees to jump beyond the toes. And then bring your hands to your heart. Straighten those legs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands. Maybe flow. Again, if you're working on jumping back, most of it is just trust. Your body's ready. So bend the knees. Plant the palms. Fix your gaze. And shoot the legs back. Careful to land with the elbows bent. Then press the earth away. Melt the shoulders to downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to flow through that sun bee salutation. One breath, one movement. So right leg to the sky. Right foot behind the right wrist. Warrior one. Breathe in. Maybe a back bend at the top. Then exhale. Hands float to the earth. Step back high to low plank. Inhale, rise. Shine through your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left heel high. Left foot behind the left wrist. Warrior one. Thinking about the body as it rises. Exhale, back down. Take a flow or skip it. Make sure the breath is not compromised in the challenging poses. That's when you need it the most. Look to the front. Hop or step, feet to hands. Utkatasana. Breathe in and breathe out, hands to the heart. Take a big breath in and release. On the inhale, we're going to lift that left knee up toward the sky and find a tree pose. So externally rotate into your left leg. Plant the left foot above or below your knee. Hands can come to the heart. Focus on lifting the spine, and then maybe the arms start to rise. And And then start to take that little crescent shape left and right again. Part of being a badass is being courageous, but also trusting that it's okay to be vulnerable. Because we know we can get back up and try again. Fear does not defeat us. If we have a wall, even better. Come back into center, hands to the heart. We're going to step that left foot all the way back, coming into a warrior two. So you've got your left foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, right foot pointing to the top of the mat. Beautiful lunge in that front knee. Maybe you need to bounce a little bit to find your edge. Open up through the heart. Stretch those arms. Yes. You got this, warriors. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. And then we're going to find extended side angle. So right forearm to the right leg, or the hand can come all the way down inside or outside of that right leg. Left arm reaches up. So feel the energy from the edge of the left foot through the left fingertips. Spin the left rib cage open just a little bit. Nice. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then bring that left hand down to the earth and walk to the center, finding the wide-legged forward fold. Adjust the feet slightly so the heels are in, toes are out, just a little bit. And then rise halfway. Find a nice flat back. Press in your tailbone back, reaching the crown of the head forward. Good morning to the hamstrings. Nice strengthening into the core. And then rise all the way up, arms up. And of course, we come into our goddess pose. The most badass of badass shapes. I said that about Utkatasana, but now I'm going to change my mind. I think it's warrior. I think it's a goddess, right? Harvesting that divine feminine energy where it intersects with the strong masculine energy and just feeling it all through the body. So see if you can get a little lower and then a little higher. And move a little bit. We're just slowly lowering down, respecting the limits of your own physical body. You don't have to keep those arms still. You can move them. Just some little dips. It's like a little goddess squat. Micro movements. Yeah, 2 more. One more. Nice. And then fold, straighten those legs. Let the head hang heavy. Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to walk around to the right foot and pivot both feet so that they face the front, coming into a pyramid pose. So you're welcome here to use blocks to bring the earth closer / make the arms longer. Both feet are rooted down into the earth. Big stretch into that front leg. Making that adjustment, pressing the right hip back, left hip draws forward. Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to do that little twisty flow. So left hand to the earth, right arm up to the sky. And then the right arm comes outside of the right pinky and the left arm comes up. Release the left hand, right arm back up. And again, notice how the hips are going to want to move with the twist. So really squeeze the glutes, squeeze the hip stabilizers and the adductors so that they stay stable and the twist comes just from the spine. One more to the left. Beautiful. Step forward, forward fold. Rise all the way up. Hands to the heart. Take a moment, notice the heart beating. And then we'll take that on the other side. So root into the left foot, right knee rises up. Right foot to the left leg for your tree pose. Above or below the knee. It's perfectly fine to bring those toes down if you need a little grounding today. If you're feeling a little unsteady, this is a great way to find the pose without trying to fluff up the ego. Badassery is not about ego at all. It's true, authentic strength. All right, so maybe the arms rise. Pressing foot into leg, leg into foot. Rising just a little bit taller, shining through the crown. Beautiful. You're welcome to bring more movement in. No need to be static. Challenge yourself. Be okay with falling out because you can always come back in. Nothing will intimidate you. And then hands to the heart. Right foot steps back as that right hip opens, finding your wide warrior two stance. Once again, if your warrior wants to dance a little bit, dance. If your warrior wants to shake, stomp. Do what you need to do in the body. Maybe you like being still and concentrating. Don't lose sight of that breath, that magnificent breath. One more breath. And then extended side angle. Options to bring the hand all the way down or keep the forearm gently rooted onto the thigh. And this time feeling the energy from the edge of the right foot through the side body, out through the fingertips, with the right hips or the right rib spinning up and open. Notice if you're leaning forward at all. I always have to catch myself and press back just a little bit through the shoulder blades. One more big breath. And bring that right hand down. Sweep around, wide-legged forward fold. Shaking the head. Flutter the lips. Play with your hair. Whatever it takes. Move a little side to side. We're going to wake up those hamstrings once again. Hands to the hips, halfway lift. Really extending the crown of the head away from the tailbone. So pulling forward, pressing back. Keeping the lower abs engaged so you're not sinking into the lumbar spine. And then rise all the way up, coming back into that strong power pose. Bring the heels in slightly. Big breath in. Find that badass goddess pose again. And we're going to play around a little bit with I'm going to move my flowy pants so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to lift the right heel and then lower it. Lift the left heel and lower it. And just go back and forth. Noticing the really subtle activation of leg muscles. And maybe you do both at once. Whoop, whoop. Lifting the heels, keeping the knees bent, keeping the tailbone rooted. Getting into those adductors again. 2 more breaths. And then rise and fold. Yes. Walk the hands around to frame the left foot, rotating both feet to the front. Careful that your feet are not in the one lane of traffic. You're in two, like railroad tracks here. There's space. Finding your pyramid pose. You can interlace hands behind the back if you want a shoulder stretch. You can keep the hands tethered. You can, if you want to challenge your core, you can lift your arms and bring a nice flat back. Just remember to breathe into the tight spaces of the body that you're noticing right now. One more breath. Step forward, forward fold. From here, start to bring your hips down towards your heels. So the heels will lift naturally from the earth, coming onto your balls of the feet. And we're going to swing the knees open, and we're going to bring the hands down. All right. And just see if you can melt. Maybe you even bring the forearms down. So the heels are together, but the knees are open. This is a nice stretch into the hips. You can let the head hang. Take another breath. And then start to bring the knees back together. We're going to play around a little bit with crow pose. If as soon as I said that, you were like, nope. Just take note of that. What is fueling that energy of no? And maybe there's a really valid reason. There's an injury. But if it's just a little bit of fear, a little bit of insecurity, remember, you're a badass. So there's something here for you too. So your palms come down to the earth underneath the shoulders. The knees are going to come right up to the triceps, somewhere between the elbow and the shoulder. And just lean in. Maybe your toes never leave the ground. Lean in. And as you lean in, look forward. You don't ever want to look back at your toes in crow pose because you're going to fall. And that's dangerous in your cervical spine. And unlike tree where you fall and you come back in, if you fall in crow, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's not very safe. So just rock back and forth if you don't want to take a full crow. Just do your crow. Crows aren't always flying. Sometimes they're just hanging out on the sidewalk looking for handouts. If you do want to take your full crow, then root down, really rise through the roundness of the back, tucking the navel up, look and lean forward and start to bring the heels toward your bum. And once you get there, press into the palms a little bit more, round the upper spine a little bit more. I'm going to come look at y'all. Just play, just have some fun. Yeah. So you're welcome to keep the knees wide. I see Laura with her knees wide. That's another great way to approach crow. If you want to bring that fleshy fold of the thigh to the tricep, a lot of guys, because anatomically their hips are just made so that they can't really bring their legs together like we can. It helps, and women too. I mean, if this is what makes crow accessible for you, then that's fine too. It also, for some people, it hurts to have the bony kneecap pressing into your tricep. So you like the flesh on flesh, and that works. And then you can also, if your wrists get tired, you can also play around. It's a little more challenging with a baby crow where you come onto your forearms and try to bring the knees up into the triceps like this. Your face is going to be real close to the earth, especially if you're short like me. But it's just a little bit more challenge doing a baby crow, but better on the wrists. Take a few more breaths. Just igniting that inner badass that is willing to take a risk, willing to play around. Yes, Allie. Beautiful. I see you. Draw the navel up and in. And then when you're all done with that, come on down to a seat. We're going to ignite. You guys are awesome. Thanks for trying and playing and having some fun. Maybe you went a little further than you've gone before. Maybe you weren't able to go as far as you did yesterday, and that's okay. Remember, each day our body presents to us a whole new structure. And depending on what we're wearing emotionally, it may encourage you to go deeper. It may prohibit you from going further. So be okay with that. Be okay. Remember, our practice is all about being okay with where we are, not wishing it to be different. All right, so here we are. We're going to come into a boat pose. So round those shoulders back away from the ears. The feet can stay rooted. We're looking for uplift in the spine. And slowly then start to rock back and lift the legs. You can straighten them completely if you want. I'm always a little bit more comfortable here with the shins parallel. Breathe. And breathe. Bring your hands to your heart. Let's row our boat a little bit. Dipping the elbows down, just really slowly. So you feel the twist in the obliques here. If you start to develop pain in the back, then come and root yourself, anchor yourself. If you want to start to challenge yourself a little bit as you twist to the left, extend the right leg. And as you twist to the right, extend the left leg. Getting some more movement into it. We'll take this for about 5 or 6 more breaths. Make sure you're breathing. Take one more breath. Even out your movement. And then come back to your sit bones. Root the feet down. Give yourself a hug, wrapping your hands around your shins. Tuck your knee, your forehead to your knees, chin to chest. Then bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees open up. Come into your Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, fold forward. Maybe it feels good to bring a little roundness into the back, or you can try to keep it nice and firm and lengthened. Just giving yourself the benefit of the fold here. Finding that stillness of the fluctuations of the mind that we were working on earlier this week. And then press back up, and we're going to take Karmasana. This is our turtle pose. So your legs are going to open up into a V shape, as wide or narrow as you need them to be. Again, working on those adductors. So if you would like, you can take a simple seated forward fold. That may be enough for you. If you want to play around with Karmasana, it's kind of fun. Mine looks kind of funky, but it's all good. You're going to slide your arms underneath the knee. Walk them out a little bit. And then start to invite your chest down toward the earth. I have to keep my knees bent. Otherwise, my hamstrings feel like they're going to rip apart. But I'm still feeling a really, really nice stretch here. If you have a block, it may be nice to bring it under your forehead so you're not straining to reach. Take 4 more deep breaths here. When you're all done, slide those hands out. Slide the legs together. One more forward fold. Forward folds are so nice for that, for the nervous system, to help downregulate the reactivity. So sit up nice and tall. Keep the feet flexed. Take a big inhale. This is our Paschimottanasana. Hinge at the hips, reaching for wherever the hands land. Keep thinking about crown of the head pressing forward as tailbone draws back. One more breath. And then we're going to come onto our backs. Lift the knees up so the shins are parallel again. Just feel the back pressing down into the earth. Pressing down into the earth. So you don't really necessarily feel, unless you have a lot of lordosis, you're not really going to feel the lumbar curve of the back lifting. Press it down. And to do that, you engage the abs that draw it down. Take a breath here. And then cross your right ankle over your left thigh, taking a figure 4 shape. One option is one hand behind the knee, one hand on top of the right knee, pulling and pressing. Or you can take both hands to bind behind your left thigh. If you have a wall to put that left foot against, that provides a really nice assist. press into the wall. Take another breath. And then fully cross the right over the left, like eagle legs. Arms open wide, and let the legs drift into a twist to the left. Hip lifted, shoulders rooted. The breath is still traveling the whole spine. Another breath. Come back into center, flutter the legs a little bit. And then come back into that Uddiyana Bandha activation. Hands can come to the thighs or just on the earth. And again, engage into those abs, drawing the back flat against the earth. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. And then find your figure 4 on the other side, left ankle over the right thigh. One comes to you, one goes away from you. Try not to absorb tension in any other parts of the body. Just breathe. One more breath. Left knee crosses over the right. Let the twist open to the right side. And then come back to center. Flutter, 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 flutter. Bring the soles of the feet together. Bring those hands to interlace on the edge of the feet. Maybe lift your head. See if your toes can kiss your Ajna chakra. Unless you want to like literally kiss your toes. I'm going to refrain from that one. And then release the edges of the feet down to the earth. Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana. Bringing your hands back to your solar plexus, just stacking palm over palm. With the eyes closed, bringing back into your mind a flood of yellow. Feeling connected to your purpose here. Feeling connected to your badassery. Your willingness to speak your mind, to fight for what you believe in, to defend those whom you love with all of your might. To be proud of who you are, never shrinking under the expectations of anybody else. Keep one hand on your solar plexus, one to your heart. Coming back to your intention. Promising yourself that you will maintain this empowerment throughout your day, into the rest of the week and the weekend. Take a big breath in. Let a breath go. Release your body into your final rest. And maybe this feels good and you want to savor this and stay here till the end. Or start to relax the body, stretching back out into a power shape where you take up space. Allow yourself to rest in this beautiful space of your being. I will awaken you in just a few moments with another reading from Victoria Erickson. Today, I'm going to fall in love with the way I belong to myself, regardless of any situation or circumstance or commitment or outside happening. I am going to fall in love with the way I refuse to settle for less than vibrant aliveness, less than what feeds and fuels this energy wildly, fully, infinitely, freely. Because I'll allow nothing on the outside to detract from, limit, lessen, or shrink me. Start to ignite that deep, powerful breath once again. It is invigorating to the body. It is inspiring to the mind. Take 5 really deep breaths in and full sighs out. Last one. Start to wiggle into the body, shaking what your mama made for you. And then roll onto one side, connecting with this new beginning, this beginning filled with endless possibilities, limitless potential. Rise on up, come to a comfortable seat. Let those palms find one another in front of your heart. So grateful. Thank you so much for your presence, for your practice, for just being there. Your energy comes through loudly, even through the screen. I'm so grateful to you. Know that the love and the light and the badass in me honors the love, the light, and the badass in each of you. Namaste. So thank you all so much for practicing with us this Thursday. Hope wherever you are that the day is filled with magic and that you continue to be a badass out in this world. I look forward to seeing you guys